Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sydney and today I'm going to be talking about authors that I'm really ashamed that I have not gotten into yet. At first I was just gonna have this be, authors I haven't read yet, but honestly, as I was pulling these books off of my shelves, I realized that it's just me publicly shaming myself about authors that I have just, for some reason, have neglected to pick up, even though I know I'm gonna love these books and they are so well loved by everybody. I just haven't read them yet, and without further ado, I'm just gonna get into it. The first book I'm going to be talking about is Challenger Deep by Neal Shusterman. Really just obviously Neal Shusterman in general. This is the only book of his that I currently own. I just picked this up from a library sale and it sounds really good, but I'm really interested in the side series that he has, and also Unwind. They both sound really good books as well. This is just more of a contemporary one, which is kind of what I'm in the mood for right now. I've heard nothing but great reviews, obviously. It's how it's going to be with all of these authors, but I just really needed to get into this, and I figured just getting my toes wet by starting with something easier, lighter, contemporary, even though I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be more of a hard-hitting contemporary, so I don't know why I'm saying easier, but yeah, it's just I'm really excited to get into this one. The next author that I really would like to get into is Holly Black. This is The Coldest Girl in Coldtown. I picked this up about a year ago because Katie over at Katie-tastic was talking about this in one of her videos many moons ago, and it sounded really good because it's been a long time since I've picked up a vampire book, and this sounded like an easy, just standalone book with vampires, and the concept sounds really cool. It's about a world where vampires exist, but if you get turned into a vampire, you have to live in this specific sector of a town where you can't really leave that boundaries or else you'll get in trouble or whatever, that kind of deal. And some people really want to be turned into vampires, some people obviously want nothing to do with it, and it just sounds really interesting. That's really all I know about this, but it sounded really good, and I really want to pick this up. Also, I don't remember what it's called, but the darkest wood in the forest, or darkest forest in the woods, something about a forest being dark. Sounded really good as well, and I've almost bought it probably at least 100 times since I've been to Barnes & Noble, but it is just another thing that I've really wanted to get into, so I look forward to getting into Holly Black's works. The next author that I want to get into is none other but Libba Bray. I have her Diviners, I have A Great Terrible Beauty. I also have Going Bovine. Everybody loves Libba Bray. This is her paranormal romance trilogy, I believe. I really honestly don't know anything about it, except for I think it is a little more Victorian era kind of deal, but I'm really excited to get into this one. I kind of like going into the paranormal kind, not knowing anything about it, just because it's not a genre I pick up too often, so I like to be surprised by it, especially if it's got a lot of hype. Then I just want to just go in, form my own opinions about it. But the Diviners, it is based in the 20s. It has got some mystical elements to it. Kind of reminds me similar to the Mortal Instruments, where there's demons in our world. It follows this girl who has the same powers as I believe her uncle or something like that, and there is this demon spirit kind of deal that's released after a long time. I believe it has to do with, starts out with a Ouija board, I believe. I read the first chapter or something of this a few months ago, but I really love the original cover for the Diviners, but I haven't seen the sequel, which is Lair of Dreams, I believe. I've only seen it in this cover, so I had to buy it in this one, but I'm so sad because the original cover is so stunning for the Diviners. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. I can't remember if it is just a duology. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a series, but there's no release date or anything like that for the third ones. It could kind of be that deal like Victoria Schwab's The Archived, how it's supposed to be more, but there's only 2 and no one knows if there'll be more. So I'm really excited to get into this one too, although it is a bit daunting because it is really big and it's got, well, I mean, it's not super big. It's around 600 pages, I want to say, but yeah. So Libba Bray is a must. The next author is none other but Morgan Matson. I have Second Chance Summer and then Since You've Been Gone. This one is about a girl whose best friend goes missing but leaves behind, well, missing to her, like nobody else really is, it's not like she was taken or anything, but like her best friend just kind of disappears but sends her in the mail a list of things to do for the summer before the school year starts. And what is her name? I think like Sloan. Sloan's always been just a quiet kind of person, and her friend was more of the outgoing one. So it's a bunch of things that normally she would not do, and it's just kind of coming of age, discovering yourself kind of thing. And I'm really excited to get into this. I've been really into contemporaries lately, you know, with the summertime and all of that stuff. So I'm excited for this. But then also there is Second Chance Summer. This book I don't really know anything about except that it's a contemporary. I picked it up off of Book Outlet because it was super duper cheap. And Jesse over at Jessethereader actually raved about this book. He had a review of it and all that stuff, and so I really wanted to just catch up with all of the hype that I've been missing. So Morgan Matson has a bajillion awesome contemporaries. I know everybody loves Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, I believe is what it's called. Yeah. And also The Unexpected Everything are other books that people really love by her. So I need to start catching up on all of the greatness that is Morgan Matson. Okay, so this author I truly am ashamed that I haven't picked up yet because everybody absolutely adores this trilogy and I really, really need to catch up. I actually did start reading it, but that would be Tara Mafi and her Shatter Me trilogy. I just started it last night. I'm about like 120 pages in, I want to say, and it's really good. Like, it did take me a little bit to get into, but I really, really like where I think this is going. I think it's really interesting. I like the world. I like what's his name? Adam. I'm adoring Adam so far. He seems really great. I really don't know too much about this, so I don't want to say too much. Plus, I'll probably cover it in like a June wrap-up, hopefully. But yeah, Tara Mafi, everybody loves. Same thing with her middle grade book, which the sequel / companion novel comes out, I believe, in September, I want to say. But I think it's Furthermore, something like that. It's got a really beautiful cover. It's really, really colorful, and I really wanted to get that too because I've been into middle grade a lot lately, but this is definitely an author that I need to get into, and I'm super excited to see where this trilogy goes. I'm hitting the point where as I keep talking about these authors, I'm feeling more and more shameful about the fact that I have not read any works by them. And this one is terrible, but Marissa Meyer. Can't say I've ever read a book by Marissa Meyer. Maybe I did when I was in middle school or something, but honestly back then I just read so much. I was swiping that library card like every weekend with my grandma. Like, why have I not read this? Everybody loves the Lunar Chronicles. Everybody loves Heartless. Like, oh, disappointed in myself, truly. Like, Cinder is a like sci-fi fantasy retelling of obviously like Cinderella, and then there's Scarlet, Cress, and Winter, and then there's the 2 novella books, I think, The Stars Above and Fairest, I want to say. Yeah, sounds about right. But I really, really need to get into this. It sounds super great. I love retellings, and I have not read a retelling in so long. I mean, A Court of Thorns and Roses, that whole trilogy kind of counts, I want to say, but it's not like super strict to the retellings, so I kind of don't count it for retellings. So this, I need to pick up ASAP. But she is another wonderful author that I cannot wait to explore. The next book is the first in a series, I believe, and that would be Susan Dennard. This is Truth Witch. It is a fantasy world where there is a bunch of witches which have different powers. They have Truth Witch, there's Wind Witch, which is the sequel, that's how I know that, but there's just a bunch of different types of powers that you can have, and she is very rare because not a lot of people are Truth Witches because they are murdered for the fact that they can tell when people are telling the truth. And it's just, there's a lot of friendship I heard in this story, and a lot of just wonderful magical things, and I can't wait to explore it. I really don't know anything about this one either, just because it is fantasy and it's something that I wanted to go into not knowing. but Reagan over at Peruse Project absolutely loved this book, so I'm really excited to get into it and see what I think. The next author that I want to get into is none other but Alexandra Bracken. There is the Darkest Minds trilogy, which I have only the first book, and then Passenger, which is the duology with Wayfarer. Wayfarer just came out at the beginning of the year, I want to say, and I've heard really great things about both of these. Passenger is a time-traveling novel, which sounds super great because I haven't really read that many books that have to deal with time travel. So I'm excited to give this a go. I heard it is kind of slow-paced, but I really am excited to get into this and see what I think. Whereas in this book, I know literally nothing. It's a fantasy trilogy, and that's all I really know. But I really am excited to delve into this as well because I heard she has a beautiful writing style. And yeah, so I'm excited to get me some Alexandra Bracken in my life. Alright, so these last two books I'm about to talk about are honestly the worst. Like, I feel like a terrible reader because I have not even read a single word by either of these authors that I'm going to be talking about. But the second to last, B Schwab, I literally have no idea why I haven't picked this up. I can't find the first one, but the first one is A Darker Shade of Magic. Obviously that's the trilogy. So it's A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and then A Conjuring of Light. I don't know why I haven't picked it up. I love fantasy books. They're one of my favorite stories to read, and everybody adores this. And I think I'm just intimidated by the fact I've never read an adult fantasy book before. I've only read YA fantasy, which I don't know why I haven't, but it's just a little daunting to me. And also I know that it deals with different shades of London. There's black, gray, white, and red, I believe, Londons. And it's about a character who can bounce between all of those. I believe he's a pickpocketer, and he takes something of somebody's and just kind of goes from there kind of deal. So I am really excited to get into it. I do need to pick up the first book. I bought this one because I saw it for a good deal, and I was like, well, the third one's gonna be in hardcover and I want them all to match because, you know, crazy book nerd props. But yeah, so I really need to get into her books. Also, Vicious sounds amazing. The Savage Song sounds amazing. So I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just over here being dumb, not reading good books. I don't know. The last book I'm going to talk about, or author I should say, is one that I plan on reading ASAP, like maybe tomorrow even, and that is Leigh Bardugo. I've heard nothing but good things about Leigh Bardugo. She is basically a writing goddess because not a single person has not adored Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I know people don't like this one as much, but this is her first work, and so this is her first work, so I did want to start here. Plus, I know Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom is based in the same like Grisha world as this, so I wanted to get like the foundation of it before I get into that greatness so I can fully appreciate every aspect of it and I'm not missing out on anything. I know they're not really related, but still, like, if it's in the same world, I want to start at the beginning, so that's really what's holding me back. But I own all three of these, so I should really just sit down and marathon these suckers, but I haven't, and I don't know why, but it just sounds so good, and I just gotta sit down and tell myself, you are reading this and you are gonna love it, dang it. So yeah, Leigh Bardugo, I'm coming for you. Need to read your books ASAP. So yeah, that is it for my authors that I really need to get into. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!